Alright, take a rep. There. Alright. Alright then. So. There we go. Alright. So last time we read Confessions of the Witch, which was an interesting side story to go down. A different side of things being revealed. And I guess we're into the end game now. Not too much more I'm imagining can be revealed. The biggest mysteries, I think, have been solved and or revealed. I'm not quite sure what else is left, but we have an entire episode to go through. Apparently, there's also going to be a choice at the end of it. I'm not quite sure what it'd be, but we'll see. We'll figure it out. This one is episode 8, Twilight of the Golden Witch. Good morning. To think that this is goodbye brings me great sadness as well. I have prepared a farewell party for this night. There will be a game tournament as well, so I ask that you participate with vigor. Like pepper, the difficulty comes in tiny yet spicy grains. Why not participate yourself, now at the very end? Dang. The story is very obviously fictional and fantastic in nature. In resemblance to existing individuals, organizations, locations, or incidents is entirely coincidental. Two silhouettes could be seen in the chapel. A big brother and a little sister. The big brother who would never return from that day 12 years in the past, and the little sister who waited all alone 12 years in the future. However, the big brother knew everything, understood everything, and the little sister knew nothing, understood nothing. Right, and we had a little bit at the end where it was Battler telling the story of what happened to little Angie. Meta Battler to little Angie. So, no matter how much time had passed, the little sister remained as the girl she had been 12 years before. She remained a 6-year-old girl forever. Her sobs into his chest finally subsided. She quietly waited for his next words. After patting her head gently, the big brother fished around inside his shirt pocket. Then, he took that out. Hello, Seabeck. Hello. Welcome.
いいかい、エンジェ。
Are you listening, Angie? I'll show you something. I made this. Beatrice portrait. I'm not quite happy with the face, but it is complete, so it is what it is. Working on that for a while. Everything except for the face came out really well, but now I'm looking at it again, it's not bad. Not great, but not bad. Anyway, thanks for popping in. Yeah, we're starting up episode 8 today. Not sure where we're going. I have, but I kind of have a bit of a schedule now. I've been thinking about shifting things up too, so it's thought about it, but one of the other things is I think I want a second camera for that or something. 'Cause right now I only have the one camera. Uh, Back early on, I had the camera on this laptop that could look at me, but now I'm running it through the PC, but that doesn't have the built-in camera, etc., etc. Because I could have a picture like of me trying to look at stuff like this with the camera. Then I've been thinking about it, just trying to figure out how to do it, among other things. And I was just trying painting out, seeing how it would go. It's not too bad, actually. Better than I thought I would be. Yeah. Thinking about it, but it's I'm working at it. Yeah, it definitely did when I was on the laptop, but I don't want to have to stream on the laptop again. That was cramped. Hello, Beatrice. All done. Portrait's all done. I'll probably put that over here. Give me a sec. Can't quite put it in frame. Yeah, not quite. Anyway, hello, welcome. Episode 8 is a go. I don't quite know where we're going with it. Are we back to Angie or something? I don't know. Anyway, welcome you guys. Talking to Angie. Okay, she was wondering what was happening. Are you listening, Angie?
これを大事に持つんだ。
Take good care of this. Is it the
これ
pink
何？
thingies? The hair clips? What is it?
鍵？
A key? Battler took a large key attached to a necklace out of his pocket, then held it out to Angie. It was large enough to cover his entire palm, and little Angie probably wouldn't even be able to wrap her hand all the way around it. The key glittered gold and had a beautiful, intricate design. Its weight alone made it clear that this key was something very important. Battler put the necklace around Angie's neck.
これはエンジェだけの
This precious key is yours alone.
何の鍵なの？
Little Angie. The one image I was spoilered on, but I had no idea about. So, what's it for?
使うべき時は
The time to use it will come soon.
そしてエンジェが
When it does, you'll have to decide for yourself. Oh, I'm gonna work at making another painting, portrait, what have you. I'm gonna try and work on the elder Beatrice next. See how well I can pull that one off. So look forward to that one a bit. Hopefully I'll get better. The time to use it will come soon. When it does, you'll have to decide for yourself.
わかるね
Understand? Of course, she didn't have a clue what Battler was saying, but she did realize that he was telling her to take good care of this key. So, Angie nodded, at least in response to that part. In her hand, the key felt heavy. However, now that it was around her neck, it felt as light as an ordinary necklace. How strange.
さあ
Okay, let's
行こう
go.
か
どこへ？
Well, where to? She had been sure that her brother was about to sit down. After all, just a second ago, he said he'd tell her what happened on Rakunjima on that day. She'd expected him to tell her here.
あの日、
On that day, on that island,
何があったのか。
just what is it that happened?
お兄ちゃんが
I thought
そ
you
れ
were
を
gonna
聞
tell
か
me
せて
about
くれ
that,
るんじゃない
Oni-chan.
の？
聞かせるとも
Absolutely.
話して
And you'll be given the chance to listen.
聞かせ。でもそれは
However,
エンジ
to
に
you,
はただ話を聞いてい
it
る
may
だ
not
けに
feel as though you're merely listening to a story.
それはどういうこと？
What does that mean?
エンジが本当に
What you
望んで
really
いるのは
want isn't to know what happened on that island on that day.
あの島であったことを知りたいんじゃない。
So, he does understand, after all. What happened on that island that day? Trying to answer that question was all I was capable of, so I wished for nothing more. But, if I could, I'd want to go there. To that island, on that day. To Rakunjima, on that day I couldn't go. To the Ushimiya family mansion. To Mom and Dad. To all the cousins, all the relatives, and everyone else. I want to go back to that island on that day. So, I remain the way I was on that day. My heart and soul stops, stuck as a 6-year-old's forever.
帰りたいの。私
I
は
want to go home.
分かってる。
I know.
お父さんとお
Mom,
母さん、
Dad,
お兄ちゃん、
Oni-chan,
みんな、
everyone.
私は
I want to go
みん
home
なのところ
to where
へ
everyone is.
帰りたい。
だから
That's why I've decided to invite you there. Huh?
お兄ちゃんはもう
Your Oni-chan is the game master now.
ゲーム版の全
Only
てを
those
知
who
る
know
者だけ
everything
が
about the game board can open it up and invite pieces in.
だから俺は
So, I'll invite you to come to the game board.
招待する。
You'll take me to Rakunjima on that day?
あ
That's right.
あ、エンジェを
I'll invite you to the Rakunjima of
1986年
1986.
六軒島。
会えるの？
Will I
みんなに。
be able to see everyone?
もちろん
Of course.
私、
Even though
もう
my
記憶
memory
も
is
おぼろ
vague
げ
and
で
I can't remember anyone's
みん
face
なの
clearly,
顔、はっきりと思い出せないのに。
すぐに思
you'll
い出すさ。
remember soon enough.
そして
And though it'll be a reunion after 12
12
years
年
for
ぶり
you,
の再会でも俺たちにとって
it'll
は
only have been a short gap
しば
for
らく
us.
ぶりでしかないんだ。みんな歓迎する。
Everyone will welcome you.
12年の
When you finally return from the distant future,
遠い未来から
everyone will
よ
welcome
うや
you.
く帰ってきたエンジェを
私は
Will
い
I
つまでも
be
そ
able
こ
to
に
stay
いられ
there
るの？
forever? This way, I can be with everyone forever. This is the goal I'm supposed to reach.
エンジ
Angie,
ェよくお聞
listen
き
to me carefully. The battler spoke in an admonishing tone, as though warning me that this was a dream that wouldn't be granted.
六軒島の親族会議は
Rakunjima family conference usually ends after a single night.
あの日は台風だった
Because of the typhoon that day,
船の
the
都合
boat
で
couldn't come,
2泊だったけれ
and
ど
it lasted 2 nights.
それが過ぎたら
So, when the typhoon passes,
島から
I'll have to
帰ら
leave
な
the
くて
island
は
again?
ならないの？
少し違う。
not exactly.
それを決めるのも
That decision is yours as well, Angie.
エンジェが
You'll decide that
それを
yourself.
決める。
I understand, of course. I don't exist on that island on that day. It's a miracle just to be invited there like this. Just the 2 days before the typhoon passes. Just getting those 2 days to those days to myself is already the sort of miracle that will never come again. If I'm greedy enough to ask for more, that faint miracle might vanish. Even though I thought this, my young heart, which was still 6 years old, wasn't satisfied with such a short-lived miracle. I don't want to leave. I know.
わかるよ。
いつまでも
I'll be with
みんな
everyone
と一緒
forever.
にいる。家族で
I'll
一緒
stay
に
with
い
my
る。
family.
お兄ちゃんが
Even if
もう帰
Oni-chan
らな
says
く
I
ちゃ
have
っ
to
て言
head
って
back,
も
I'll
私
stay
は
on
六軒島
Rockenshima.
に残る。
残るのが正
You
しい
can
と
stay or you can leave,
帰るのが
but
正
it's
しい
not
と
as though one of those is the right choice.
そういうのじゃないんだよ。
That's not how it works, Angie.
それでも
Even so,
それを
you'll let me choose?
私が選ぶの？
そうだよ。
Yes,
そのための鍵が
that's what the key is for.
それなんだよ。
Ballard touched the glittering key that hung from Angie's neck.
私の答えはもう
I've already made my decision.
今は選ばなくていい。
You don't have to decide now.
選ぶべき時は
The time to choose will
す
come
ぐに
soon.
訪れるから。その時の
When it does,
エンジェの素
you
直な
must use your
心で
honest heart to choose how you'll use that
そ
key.
の鍵をどう使う。お兄ちゃんの言うこ
You
と
don't need to listen to anything your
何
Nichan
も聞か
tells
な
you.
くてもいい。エンジェのわがまま
You're
なよう
free
に
to choose your answer
答えを
in
決
any
めて
way
も
you
構わ
like.
ない。でも
However,
もしもエンジェが
if
言
you're
う
a
こと
good kid, and if you can trust
お
your
兄ちゃんを
Nichan,
信用できるなら
信用できる
if
な
I
ら
can't,
お兄ちゃんの言うこと
then
は
believe everything Oni-chan
全て
says.
信じなさい。
すべて
I'll
信じる。
believe all of it.
それがエンジェにとって
That will lead to the best
一番
choice
いい
for you.
選択になるから。お兄ちゃんの言葉
Listen
に
to
耳を
your
傾け
Nichan's words and believe everything.
全てを信じなさい。できるかい？
Can you do that?
わかんない。
I don't know.
それでもいい。
That's good enough.
信じたいものだけを
Believe
信じれば
whatever
いい。
you want to.
それも
That's also
エ
a
ンジェが
choice
決
you
めてい
can
いんだ
make.
よ。
お兄ちゃんを信
If
じな
I
いと
don't believe Oni-chan,
この夢は
will I
覚め
wake
て
up
しま
from
うの？
this dream?
そんなことはない。
That won't happen,
だから安心していい
so
よ。
don't worry. For some reason, Angie was suspicious of her brother and scared of him. Her wish was to remain on that island on that day, together with her family forever. She was afraid that when she got her 2 miraculous days, her brother might tell her to be satisfied with that and return to 12 years in the future all alone.
さっきも言ったと思う。
And I already told you,
残るのが正しい。
there is no right decision.
帰るそういうのはないん
You
だ。
can go, or you can stay.
それを
That's for you
エ
to
ンジェが決
decide,
める。そしてそれは
and you don't need to make your decision right now.
そのどちらかの
And no one
選
will
択を
force me to make either
誰
choice?
も強要しない？
もちろん
Of course.
お兄ちゃんは
And
私
Oni-chan
に
won't tell me
未来へ
to go
帰れな
back
ん
to
て
the future?
言わない？
お兄ちゃんは
There's a choice your Oni-chan wants you to make.
それも
Even so,
エンジェが自発的
Oni-chan
に
wants
選
to
んでくれる
respect your
ことを
decision
望んでる。
and let you reach it of your own accord,
だから
regardless of what it happens to be.
エンジェ
私もさっき言っ
And I
た。
just told you,
私の
I've
答え
already
は
made my choice.
もう決まっているよ。
俺もさっき
And I just told you,
今は
now isn't
そ
the
れを選
time to
択する
choose.
時じゃない。
それはいつ？
When will it be time?
その鍵がいずれ
The key will tell you.
教えてくれるよ。
The large gold key hung from Angie's neck. Her small hand held it tightly. At that moment, she noticed a book lying on the chapel's altar. The book had a lock on it and was sealed so that it could not be read without a key. Angie looked between the key hanging at her chest and the book on the altar.
あの本は
Will
こ
this
の
key
鍵で
unlock
開
that
くの？
book?
あの本はダメだ。
Don't touch that book. His sudden, forceful response made Angie flinch. Battler, realizing he had scared Angie, softened his expression. Come on,
さあ、
let's go.
行こう。
I'm inviting you to come back to October 4th, 1986. Okay. Battler held out his hand, and Angie gripped it tightly. Then they started walking. A brilliant light lay beyond the chapel's door. That blinding light peeked in through the cracks around the door. The brother and sister began to walk through to the other side. Welcome back, Angie. This will be the last time. I'm opening this game board one last time for you. One big cry. I keep trying to look for like hints or whatnot in the opening sequence. Don't ever catch any. Picture, where did I even know from? Was that the last show? Portraits. I have the bunnies. I have a theory on, not quite sure when I had it, but I'll tell you after the update. Jima, the infinite cat box. Umineko no Nakakoto Nichiru. Alright, yeah, one of my theories was the bunnies, the golden bows, was actually whenever they used a gun. Once again, Captain Kawabata's ferry boat, the Rakujima, cut across the sea in perfect form. And yeah, the rules that she was talking about, whenever someone sees a golden butterfly, they have to be an accomplice or it's an illusion. I picked up on that. Whenever I saw a gold butterfly, I knew it was, I can't remember when, it was later. Probably maybe like third, maybe fourth game. I don't know. Probably whatever. But I never quite thought the accomplice line. I thought this is obviously something altered. This is something different. And so I picked up on that one. And I was starting to think later on, probably thinking sixth game when the bunnies were a bit more active, or like in Erica's game, I think. When I started thinking about the bows could be just a gun, and that thing over indulged it or whatever. Anyway, let's see where we're going. Just want to spit that out there. Once again, Captain Kawabata's ferry boat to Rakujima cut across the sea in perfect form. Yes, the tale of October 4th, 1986 always begins with Battler's screams. But this time, one thing was different. There was another yell alongside Battler's. Battler was screaming. The other was laughing. Fall, fall, fall. Fun, fun, fun. Battler's face looks funny. Alongside the big brother, who was grasping at the handrail and screaming in a way no one that age should scream, was the little sister, also grasping the handrail and jumping about like it was a ride at an amusement park. George and the others just couldn't hold in their laughter at the distance. I guess Battler-kun hasn't changed much these past 6 years. He's as energetic as ever. Plus, Angie and Maria look more cheery than usual this year. Could this be the first time we've had all 5 cousins together? Oh, is it? I get it. That explains why it's noisier this year than any year before. George Aniki, this is way too fast, right? I'm begging you. Ask the driver to slow it down before it's too late. This is too fast? Battler's so pathetic. I want to go faster. Faster, faster. Any faster than this, I'll fall right off the boat. Will that make you happy? I'm gonna fall. Going by popular vote, I'd have to say that Battler-kun's proposal is rejected. Look out, Ani-chan. Look, you're gonna fall. Scaredy cat Battler needs to be punished. Tickle time. Wait, stop, Maria. You too, Angie. No. Thank goodness. I was worried about Angie's health, but it'd be too sad to leave her behind at home. I'm glad we decided to bring her anyway. Wasn't she very sick shortly before you left? She was all better this morning. Kids can be so incredible sometimes. She's the kind of person whose health takes a hit when she's stressed. It's not that strange for people like that to get all better when the big day finally comes. She must really have been looking forward to playing with all 5 of the cousins together. Just watching them play together makes you feel charged with energy, doesn't it? The adults smiled as they watched the children play around. Angie, who had gotten very sick, and who everyone had thought would be absent, made a miraculous recovery. Thanks in part to her strong desire to join in. She had come along to the family conference with the others. And so, for the first time ever, all 5 cousins were gathered together. October 4th, 1986 became a day like no other. The kids dashed up the path leading from the harbor to the rose garden. They were probably so charged up that even walking was too boring for them. See that? First place! Battler was the first one to reach the rose garden, which was the goal. Apparently, he was trying to make up for the dishonor he had suffered on the boat by providing his superiority on land. A short while later, Angie and Maria reached him in a dead heat. I'm second. I'm faster than Angie. No, you aren't. Maria One-chan cheated. I'm second. The 3-year gap between Angie and Maria was large, especially since both of them were growing kids. It was only natural that Maria was faster, but Angie seemed to be complaining about a shoulder bump at the start line. Maria One-chan cheated, so she gets last place. Teacher always says you get last place if you cheat, protested Angie. Come on, no need to fight. Still, both of you really are fast. It's been a long time since I've run that much. The breeze feels so nice. Are you out of shape, George Aniki? You know, anyone who has to run the race to make it before the bell every day gets strong legs by default. In other words, being a fast runner is proof that you sleep in a lot. Oni-chan always sleeps in. He didn't wake up today either, so I had to wake him up. Right? A stump followed by a flying elbow. And that body punch from the top rope at the end there just about finished me. That sounds more likely to put you in an eternal sleep. Sounds fun. I want to do it too. I'll bet Oni-chan sleeps in tomorrow too. We'll wake him up together this time, okay? I'd recommend against staying up too late tonight. Cute. Finally, the adults came into sight. The cousins waved at them, urging them to hurry up. Angie and Maria were so excited that they could hardly wait. Just by having all 5 cousins together, just by adding Angie into the group, look at how energetic this day has become. Excuse me. The family members have arrived. Oh, they made it. I must let Father know. I also want to check out something. During the big reveal, I thought about something and want to go double check it. It happened during the second game, I believe. Right. So they made it. I must let Father know. Are they all in the guest house now? Yes. They will meet you here after they have set down their luggage. Understood. Canon, please show them the way. Shannon, please get some tea ready. As you wish, madame. Father, it's me, Kraus. It's about time for you to get ready. After Kraus knocked on the door, it opened from the inside. Oh, Dr. Nanjo. How's Father doing? No need to worry. He's changing as we speak. I think he's just a little nervous. Who are you calling nervous? No, I cannot find my favorite one-winged necktie pin. How many times must I tell Natsuhi? My possessions must never be moved without my approval. Apparently, Kinzo had been running around for some time, just because he couldn't decide on a tie and a tie pin. Kinzo felt that the dignity of the family head must always be preserved. He usually made a big deal about the head's attire being equally dignified. Will he make it in time? Do you think he'll give us a little longer? We'll come down as soon as he's ready. Understood. I'm counting on you, Dr. Nanjo. Father, I must say, that necktie pin looks splendid on you. This necktie pin, you say? This pin? The family conference is held but once a year. There shall be no compromise. I must have that necktie pin. Where is it? Where? Kinzo-san, you already looked in that drawer 5 seconds ago. Besides, you own several splendid necktie pins. Is it not stylish to select something fitting to match fate's whims? You think so? So I don't need to use the one-winged eagle pin? As Kraus watched Nanjo calm Kinzo down, he started finding it hard to believe that this doctor wasn't his own mother. Well, it was always like this. He always makes a fuss when no one's looking, but when the time comes, he makes his decision with pride. After asking Nanjo to come down by lunch at the latest, Kraus snuck out of the study. Something doesn't quite seem right this time round. What do you think? A splendid aroma, is it not? And a unique one as well. I've never had pumpkin tea before. That little touch of sweetness makes it delicious. As one step in preparing the tea for the guests, Goda let Shannon try a bit first. Until then, Shannon had thought it would be outrageous for a servant such as herself to drink the same thing as the family and their guests. However, according to Goda, that kind of thinking was a mistake. One must not serve something if one does not know the taste beforehand. For example, when you visit a restaurant and a dish you've never heard of catches your eye, what are you likely to ask the waiter? How does this dish taste, correct? I see. So, if the waiter says that he's never eaten it before, that would seem a bit odd. Precisely. As a matter of course, anyone serving their customers must be deeply acquainted with the taste of the tea and food they serve. And you'll always feel happier serving a sort of tea that you've tried and enjoyed for yourself. That's right. After tasting tea this delicious, I can't wait to let everyone else try it. And because of that, we servants must be very familiar with the tastes of all sorts of foods. That's why sampling food whenever I can is part of my job description. It's a perk as well as our job. Do you understand? Yes. Everything is proceeding smoothly. Are there any problems with the tea? Oh, Genji-san, you must try some as well. Seeing as it's almost Halloween, I decided to make some pumpkin tea. Later, perhaps. The family will be arriving at the mansion very soon. It looks as though the children will be joining in. Yes, sir. The cups are ready to go as well. At that moment, the kitchen's extension line started to ring. Genji, who was standing right beside it, swiftly picked up the receiver before the second ring. Shannon and the others always thought Genji looked like a samurai when he did this. Genji? Understood. Take care when guiding them. After giving that short response, Genji set the receiver down. Was that Cannon? That was Cannon. The relatives will be here shortly. The children are with them. Shannon, Kumasawa, go to serve them. Goda, hurry up with that tea. Yes, sir. Family conference. It was the largest event of the year for the servants. They were all excited and determined to make it through together once again this year.
失礼いたします。
Kraus-sama.
親族の皆
I
様
have led the
をお連れ
relatives
しま
here.
した。
おお、よく来た
Oh,
ね。
there you are.
道中問題はなかった
Were there any
ね。
troubles on your trip here?
兄さん、儲け
Nisan,
てるん
you've
で
been
しょ。
doing pretty well for yourself lately, haven't you?
そろそろ自家用
It's
ジェット
about
を
time
買い
you
な
brought
さ
a
いよ。
pirate, bought a private jet.
今回の機内も
After all,
後ろ宮
no
に
one
し
was
か
in
お
the
らんかっ
plane
た
but the
からな。
family, as usual.
エンジェちゃん、
I'm glad
来られてよかったで
Angie-chan
す
made
ね
it.
体調が悪いから欠席するか
I
も
was
しれ
so
ないと
worried
聞
when I
いて
heard she was too
心
sick to
配してい
come.
たのですよ。
ご心配をおかけしま
Thanks
した。
for your concern.
今朝になったら急に
She
元気
suddenly
にな
got
り
all
ました。
better this morning.
お腹痛いのどっ
My
か行っ
tummy
ちゃ
ache
った
went away.
お腹を
I rubbed my
くる
tummy
くる時計
clockwise.
回りにさするの
Oh, oh.
お腹痛いの
That's a magical ritual to heal
魔法の
tummy
おま
aches.
じないな
こらマリア、
Now,
少し
Maria,
静かにしな
quiet
さい。
down.
おお、
No?
そっち
Is
は
that
バトラ
Battler
君
Kun?
か。大きくなっ
You've
た。
grown so big.
6年ぶりです
It's
ね。
been 6 years, hasn't it?
本当に立派になり
You've
ま
grown
した。
splendidly.
いやは
Well,
おかげさまで
I do keep getting
背
bigger,
ばっか伸びまして
at least.
肝っ玉の
Can't
方
really
は
say
相
that
変わ
about
ら
his
ずみ
guts,
てえだけど
though.
な。
むしろ
I'm just happy to learn that he's still the same old Battler Kun.
僕は安心したけどね。
Battler may be bigger, but he's still Battler.
こいつは飛行機で
This
も船
brat's
でも
always been terrified of falling off planes and boats
相
and
変わ
stuff.
らずに
アスムさんの血でしょ。
That must be Asumu-san's blood, right?
多分あれだぜ。
When he was a kid and we went to theme parks, we always went on some of the wilder rides.
こいつが小さい頃
That's probably
遊
what
園地
did
で
it.
激しめなのばっか。
身長制限で乗れない
Don't
ん
they
じゃ
have
ない
height
の？
restrictions for those?
いやいや、
No, I don't mean that kind.
ティーカップとか
You know those paddle
足
boats
こぎ
and
ボート
teacup
とか
rides, right?
いろいろそういうのをちょいと
Looks like we
激し
took
めに
those
付
a
き合わ
bit
せた
too
のが
rough back
ま
in
ず
the
かっ
day.
たみたいだ。
ルドルフ兄さん
You've
は
always gone a bit overboard on rides like that, Rudolph Nissan.
それはそれは
I see.
かわいそうに。
Poor Battler Kun.
バト
Poor
ラ君には
Battler
同
Kun
情する
indeed.
よ。
でも安心したわ。
Still, it's comforting, in a way.
乗り物嫌いで
Even
こそ
after
バ
all
ト
this
ラ
time,
君って
nothing
感じだ
says
もんね。
Battler Kun like a fear of riding things.
お兄ちゃんは乗り物が
Honey-chan
嫌い
isn't
なん
scared
じ
of
ゃない
riding
の
things.
落ちるから
He's
嫌い
just
な
scared
の
of falling off them.
落ちる
Fall! Fall! Ooh, ooh, ooh.
こら、
Hey,
走り回
stop
らない
running
の。
around.
マリア、お
Maria,
姉ちゃんでし
you're
ょ。
one of the big cousins now, right?
お手本を見せなさい。
Set a good example.
失礼します
Pardon me.
お茶の配
I've
膳に
brought
参りま
some
した
tea for everyone. A pleasant aroma followed Shannon as she came into the room, pushing a serving cart. Even Angie and Maria, who had been running around in circles, sat down obediently when they heard that drinks were here.
ところで親父はどうしてんだ
By the way, what's Dad doing?
もうじき降りてくるだろう。
He should be down here soon.
ネクタイ一
He's
本選
been
ぶ
rushing
のに
about all morning,
朝から
trying to
大
choose a
騒ぎ
tie.
だよ。
相変わら
You
ず。
mean all that
ど
about
しどしと威
choosing
厳あ
a
る
attire
服装
suitable
が
for
ど
the
うの
family
こう
head?
の。お父さんって
Father's always been picky
昔から
about
ネク
ties,
タイにはや
hasn't
た
he?
らうるさいわよね。
こだわりがあられる
It's
ので
just
しょう。
something he has a passion for.
おしゃれなのは良いことで
Staying
す。
stylish is a good thing.
その割に
And yet,
結
he
局い
always
つも
shows up
同じ
wearing
ネ
the
クタイ
same
で
tie
現
in
れ
the
る
end.
ね。
The family members burst out laughing. The sweet scent of Goda's specially made pumpkin tea spread throughout the parlor. The calm atmosphere grew more cheery and excited.
ママ見て
Look, Mama! Look, Mama!
パンプキンの
It's a
クッキ
pumpkin
ーだ
cookie
よ
for Halloween!
あら、本当
Oh,
ね。
that's right.
この甘い匂い
The
は
sweet scent is kabocha, isn't it?
はい
That's right.
今日のお紅茶は
Today we have some
珍し
special
い
pumpkin
パン
flavored
プキ
tea
ンの
for
フ
you
レ
to
ーバーな
try.
んですよとっても美味しい
It
ですか
really
ら
is delicious.
最初はぜひ
So I suggest
スト
you
レー
try
トで
some
召し上
without
がってみ
sugar
てくださ
first.
い
姉さん、それ
Nay-san,
気をつけて。
watch your sleeve.
へえ、
Wow.
かぼちゃ
So
の紅
kabocha
茶
tea
なんて
actually
あ
does
るんだ。
exist.
ゴーダさんは
Goda-san
よくこんなの
really
見
did
つ
his
けてく
homework.
るよな。
美味しいね。
Delicious.
なかなかいいよ。
This is excellent.
かぼちゃの自
You
然
can
な甘
taste
み
the
が感じられ
kabocha's
るね。
natural sweetness.
かぼちゃを紅茶
Kabocha
に
tea,
ね。
huh?
でもよ
Still, kabocha always tastes best in
天ぷらが一
tempura.
番だよな
Oh,
かぼちゃ
it's
じゃない
pumpkin,
の
not
パンプキン
kabocha.
なのパンプキン
Yeah,
はかぼちゃ
pumpkin
じゃない
is different
の
from
パ
kabocha.
ンプキンなの
This is pumpkin. Maria seemed to think the English word was more fitting for Halloween, but it looked like Andrew thought kabocha and pumpkins were entirely different things. Everyone laughed but Angie, not knowing why she was being laughed at, cocked her head to one side discontentedly. Just when it looked like she was about to get in a bad mood and start grumbling, Maria started teaching her a cookie game, and Angie immediately became engrossed with that distraction. Then the sound of approaching footsteps drifted in from the hallway. When the relatives realized whose footsteps those must be, they straightened up. Those quick footsteps stopped for a moment just outside the parlor door, as though someone was taking a deep breath and setting up a dramatic pause. Then the door exploded, open as Kinzo yelled out loud, with Genji and Nanjo standing behind him.
Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween!
And trick or treat!
And trick or treat! Trick or treat! The cousin shouted it back. The adults returned the greeting too, looking embarrassed and refusing to meet his gaze. Angie alone stood there with her mouth open, unable to comprehend what had just happened. Welcome, my grandchildren. If you don't give me a treat, I shall trick you.
ほらマリア
Go ahead, Maria.
おじいさ
Happy Halloween, grandfather.
ま今年はす
I
ごい
got you a
の
really incredible one this year.
驚いて
You'll be surprised. Maria picked up a present that had been hidden behind a sofa. Come to think of it, all of the relatives were now holding similar packages.
ほらエン
Come
ジ
on, Angie. You too.
これをおじいさん
Give
に
this to
渡して
grandfather. Kiri handed Angie a neatly wrapped present. This isn't how Halloween works. Ooh, Maria, you're always so thoughtful. Grandpa's so happy. It bugs me. English doesn't have the same inflection as Japanese. So happy isn't quite the same in English. As Kinzo took Maria's present, a smile broke out across his face, and he rubbed his cheek up against it. Master, your dignity. What dignity? That's right. You have pleased your grandfather greatly, my granddaughter. In return for the treat you have given me, I promise not to trick you at all this coming year.
今度はおじい様の
Now it's your turn, grandfather.
お菓子をく
If
れ
you
と
don't give me a
きゃ
treat,
いたず
I'll
らしちゃ
prank
う
you.
ぞ
Indeed. I'm well aware. Genji, here. Genji fished through something that looked like Santa Claus's sack and pulled out a present addressed to Maria. Okay, handing it over to Kinzo. Here you go, Maria. Here's a present from me. I'm warning you, it's so cute. Such a waste to give it up to you. What the hell am I watching? Master, dignity. This is a present from the Ushimi family head to Maria. It is a cute an item worthy of the Ushimi family's dignity and grace. Take good care of it.
ありがとうおじい
Thank you, grandfather. I love you. Why do you keep getting cut down there? Over here.
ちゅちゅちゅ
I love you. Kiss, kiss.
Oh, Mario!
Oh, Maria, my adorable granddaughter. Kiss, kiss. It may just be me, but I feel something is amiss this time around. Can't quite put my finger on it, but I think something's different. I think Kinzo might have gotten a haircut. By this point, even Genji had to give up on Kinzo's dignity. Still, the dignity of the family head had lasted a full 10 seconds longer than usual this year. Happy Halloween, grandfather. This is for me. This is not Halloween. Happy Halloween. This one's mine. I hope you like it. Oh, George, Jessica. I must thank you once again this year. I'm so happy. With tears streaming down his face, Kinzo hugged George and Jessica. Do the Japanese have a gift-giving celebration type thing for Halloween? This is really throwing me for a loop. Halloween isn't about presents. Why are they giving presents? I don't get it. Oh, and Battler too? I'm so glad you've returned to the family. It's been lonely without you these 6 years. Anyway. Happy Halloween. I'm not sure if you'll like it though. It's also October 4th and 5th. It's an entire month away. What the hell's going on? Don't worry, Battler. I know you have things you want to say, things you want to ask. But now is not the time. Grandfather. I am glad that you have returned to the Ushimiya family. It makes me feel happy. Slowly, Kinzo moved forward and hugged Battler. Battler drew back at first, but then he understood Kinzo's feelings and hugged him back. Angie watched the scene play out, shocked. Was Ushimiya Kinzo always this kind of person? Yeah, totally. What are you talking about? Angie, you're up. Go on, give it to grandfather. Okay. Angie didn't have a clue what was going on. She took the present from her mother had given her and walked forward timidly. Kinzo's face, which had looked so cheery a second ago, suddenly became stern as soon as Angie stepped forward. No, it didn't become stern. That expression was the one always worn by the Kinzo inside Angie's mind. This was Ushimiya Kinzo. He was fickle, short-tempered, and always wore a stern expression on his face. This was the most terrifying person in the Ushimiya family. It felt as though the world went suddenly quiet, and it only did it when I stepped forward. Why? Why only for me? But isn't this how it should be? Isn't this the Ushimiya Kinzo I expect? The Ushimiya Kinzo I understand? I was like a puppet carrying a tea tray. I walked forward, bewildered, with the present held out in front of me, and stopped in front of Kinzo. Without letting his expression change in the slightest, Kinzo slowly reached out and touched the present. Angie. In an instant, Angie was caught in a firm embrace, present and all. Kinzo's white beard rubbed against her cheek. Grandpa is so happy. I'm so glad to be blessed with such lovely grandchildren. I feel happy. So happy the tears just just won't stop.
親方様、鼻水
Master,
が
your nose is running.
ついでに威厳も
That
お忘れ
And
な
your
く。
dignity. Oh, Genji, forgive me. Sniffle? As the old man blew his nose, he didn't look like he could possibly be anyone other than a kindly grandpa overcome with tears at his grandchildren's gifts. Thank you, Angie. I heard that you chose to come even though you weren't feeling that well at all. I'm so glad. Here, this is for you. He pressed the large gift box to Angie's chest. She finally realized that all of Kinzo's presents were wrapped differently and in boxes of different sizes. I wonder what he got you, Angie. I hear that grandfather always personally chooses what he'll give each one of us. Pretty incredible with all these people. He picks them himself every year. He does. What every year? He picks what himself? This bizarre ceremony happens every year. The cousins were all happily chattering about what their Halloween presents would be this year. Maria came up to Angie and suggested that they compare the weights of their presents. But for some reason, Angie just stared blankly. After that, the adults also handed their presents to Kinzo one by one, receiving a gift in return, along with considerate words about their health and questions about how they'd been doing recently. Then, after watching to see that all exchanges had been completed, Goda appeared, and announced that lunch was ready. Ah, is it ready? Come, ladies and gentlemen, let us enjoy the splendid lunch that Goda has prepared for us. Quickly, to the dining hall. This way, everyone. Follow me. We will carry our presents to your room in the guest house. Please, feel free to leave them here as you leave for lunch. The relatives stood up, leaving their presents where they lay on tables and sofas, and followed Kinzo out of the parlor. Only Angie remained standing there, stunned, as she clutched the present Kinzo had given her. Goda's lunches had never betrayed expectations before. When Hideyoshi said that these meals were the only reason anyone ever came to these family conferences, everyone laughed and nodded. The delicious food caused conversations to erupt all over the room. You've gotten so big. How have you been lately? Pretty good. It was a fun meal with everyone asking each other about the latest and laughing together. The Ishimiya family sat at meals in a specific ranked seating order, so the adult siblings, the cousins, and the spouses all sat in groups. So, conversation sprung up naturally. Angie had withdrawn slightly from the cousins' chat and was looking around the dining hall. What are Kinzo and the adult siblings doing? Their conversation seemed to be peaceful and fun. Most of the time, the siblings were mothers or fathers of their own households. However, when they gathered together by themselves in front of Kinzo, that burden was lifted from their shoulders, and they became young and bright as though they'd gone back to being kids again. Rudolph, who was usually an easygoing father who nonetheless had a sense of dignity, became so bright and cheery in this group that it almost looked like there was another battler. Even Kinzo looked peaceful and relaxed. He didn't say a word about money or the inheritance. In fact, he didn't even insult his children and call them incompetent. He just looked like a happy old man, genuinely pleased to have his whole family together for the only time this year. the group of spouses was just as harmonious. The mothers kept bringing up problems with education and household matters, as well as family health issues. Hideyoshi and Nanjo happily joined in on the conversation. And what about the cousins? There was no way such an enjoyable meal with such a fun group of friends could fail to be raucous. Maria was in her element, showing off her knowledge of Halloween trivia. George and Jessica would nod in understanding. Battler would say something stupid, and Maria would laugh at him. If I wanted, I could easily join in on that conversation. And if the dessert caught my attention, I could easily slip out of the conversation too. It was happiness, both fun and natural, and felt like waking up from a daydream to be greeted by the rays of the springtime sun. According to the weather report, we could expect a big storm sometime tonight. It's supposed to be a typhoon. Looks like we'll be stuck here for more than one night again. I do not mind in the least. You may stay here as long as you wish. If it would mean seeing my adorable grandchildren's faces more, I would pray for rain every day. Weird. I don't quite know what to do. Give us a break. We do have work to get back to. Why don't you leave the island, Father? That way you can see your grandchildren whenever you want to. True. Living on a remote island may have a sense of majesty, but haven't you had your fill of it? It's too noisy in the city. I much prefer a quiet island, with no one on it but my family. I like it here. But on Rakunjima, if something happens, it would take some time for a doctor to arrive. I agree. At your age, I think you should at least consider moving to Nijima. I am old now. I want to live in peace, surrounded only by my family. And I am satisfied. I have this island to make that dream of mine come true. Father. It seems I've gotten you all down. Ladies and gentlemen, this ends Goda's lunch. Grandchildren, it will probably be raining constantly starting tomorrow. Now is your last chance to see clear skies. Why not enjoy the flowers and then take a walk on the beach? That sounds good. Okay, everyone. Let's go. Yeah. I want to see the flowers and walk on the beach. We can collect shells and collect glass too. Collect glass? That sounds a bit dangerous. Fragments of glass get washed by the waves and come round. Beautiful gems which drift ashore. Did you forget, Battler? Remember how we used to pick them up together? Oh. Were those glass fragments? I always thought they were just pretty stones. Have you ever seen a glass gem, Angie? No? Then let's go. I'll show you. Let's go. But the first to see them gets to keep them. I'm gonna get them all. In that case, I'm not gonna lose either. Let's see who can find the prettiest, biggest glass gem. Alright. At times like this, why not be a kid? I'm not gonna lose either. Then we'll head down to the beach. Indeed. Take it easy and enjoy your time together, grandchildren. The cousins rose from their seats and noisily left the dining hall. Maria grabbed Angie's hand and dragged her along. However, Angie's expression was vague and absent-minded, the opposite of Maria's full smile. Umineko no Naku Koto ni Chiru, Nocturne of Truths and Illusions. So this is very bizarre. I'm not quite sure what's going on, man. Other than a tale specifically designed for young Angie. But even then, it's giving off the wrong vibe. The cousins walked along the beach, playing in all kinds of ways. They searched for bits of glass, polished by the waves to become small and gem-like. They caught up on news of each other's lives and joked around. They wrote words in the sand. They chased the receding waves and ran away from the coming ones. The cousins enjoyed the time they had to themselves. Get back here, Maria. You won't get off easy this time. No way, no way. You'll get hurt if you fall. Be careful, you two. It feels like the wind's gotten stronger. Maybe we should head back soon. You're right. I think the sky's getting cloudier too. Butler-kun, Maria-chan, I think we should call it a day soon. Head back to the guest house for the time being. Oh? No way. I want to play more. Hey, don't ignore your cousin. Okay, that's all for now. Here, I'll give you my glass gem. Oh, really? Thank you, Battler. Now I have the most, so I win. Oh, oh, oh. Angie, are you okay? Yeah. What's wrong, Angie? You look a little down. She's just tired out. Come on, let's all head back together. Angie's expression probably did look tired. However, Battler alone thought he saw something else in it. What's wrong? Can you tell me? It's nothing. She said that, but something in her expression showed that she was unsatisfied for some reason. Since Angie didn't say what it was, and Battler couldn't think of anything, he was unable to guess anymore. So he squeezed her small hand, silently letting her know that she could tell him whenever she was ready. Even though it seemed like such a bright sunny day a second ago, the sky turned gray and the wind started to feel more annoying than pleasant. If they waited around, they would probably see scattered raindrops as well soon. I guess it'll be raining the whole time from now on. What a pain. Still, even though it didn't last long, it was fun to be a kid again. I can't wait to show Mama this glass gem. I'm gonna tell her I won. Even though you only won because I gave you mine. Oh, I got it, so it's mine. So I won. Oh. Angie walked distractedly, pulled along by her brother. George and the others thought that she had probably woken up too early and was tired, so they didn't try to talk to her much. As they reached the end of the forested path, the rose garden lay before them. They could see strong winds making the rose bushes wave. Mama! Look! I won! Maria ran forward, waving her hands about and yelling. It looked as though Rosa was waving to them from the front of the guest house. I'm gonna head back to my room for a sec. I'll meet you in the cousin room right after. Okay, I got it. See you later then. Jessica ran off in the direction of the mansion. George turned around, as though suggesting that they had better get going too. However, when he saw Angie standing still with a crabby look on her face, he realized that something might have put her into a bad mood.
大丈夫かい？
Is everything okay?
ああ、
Yeah,
大丈夫だよ。
she's fine.
悪いけど、先に
Sorry,
行っててく
but
れね
would
え
you
かな。
mind going on ahead of us? Sure,
わかったよ。
got it.
じゃあ、後で。
See you later. George headed for the guest house. The only ones left in the rose garden were Battler, who was waving at George, and Angie, who was still staring at the ground and holding Battler's hand. For the past few minutes, he had repeatedly asked Angie what was wrong. He realized that this wasn't anything like a stomachache or something obvious that had made her grumpy. However, young girls sometimes get upset for reasons that only they can understand. Battler knew this, so he didn't rush her in any way, and continued to gaze around the beautiful rose garden, holding her hand.
お兄ちゃん、
Honey-chan,
どうした？
what is it?
どこ？
Where
ここ。
are we? She asked the question as though she was talking about something on the other side of the silver screen. The Battler understood what that question meant. He played dumb.
どこって、
Where are we?
六軒島
We're
だろ。
on Rakajima, right?
違うわ。
You're wrong.
違うねえさ。
No, I'm not.
これのどこが
How is
六
this
軒島だって
Rakajima?
言うのよ。
1986
Isn't the
年。
Rakajima of October 4th, 1986.
お前が知りたかっ
The
た。
Rakajima you've wanted to see for so long.
嘘よ。
That's a lie.
どうして？
Why do you say that?
こんなの
This is
嘘っぱちやわ。
totally fake. Angie wrenched her hand from her brother's grip. That hand hit a rose and sent flower petals flying.
俺は嘘なんかつかな
I
い。
don't lie.
これのどこ
How
が
is
真
this
実だっ
supposed
て
to be
言う
the
の？
truth? Angie spat those words out. However, Battler's expression remained calm and composed.
何が気に入らない？
What don't you like about it?
後宮
Yoshimi
金蔵って
Kinzo, for example.
あんな人のわ
He
けない
wasn't
でしょ。
anything like that, right?
孫たちとし
My
ばらくぶり
grandfather
に再
wouldn't
会したど
smile
このじいさ
when
ん
he's
だって
been reunited with his grandchildren after a long time.
少なくとも
Yoshimi Kinzo
後
wasn't
宮
that kind
金
of
蔵は
person.
そういう人じゃなかった。後宮金蔵
Yoshimi
っての
Kinzo
は
was
厳格で気難しく
strict, disconnected, short-tempered, and quick to anger.
分かってるじゃ
So
な
you
い。
do understand.
何よあ
What
れ。
was all that back there?
あれのどこが
How was that supposed to be
後宮
Yoshimi
金蔵なの
Kinzo?
よ。ハロウィン？
Halloween?
プレゼント交換？
Exchanging presents?
何よそれ。
What the hell was that?
こんなの
That's nothing like
後宮
Yoshimi
金蔵
Kinzo.
じゃない。
This
六
is
軒島じゃ
nothing
ない。
like Rokkenjima.
エンジェは
Don't you remember,
覚えてんの？
Angie?
何がよ。
Remember what?
こんなのは
We did that
いつ
every
も恒
year,
例だったじゃねえか。
didn't we?
これ
Every year?
これが
That?
そうだよな。
Well, I guess it's no surprise.
お前が親族会議に
Last
来た
time you went to a family conference, you were less than 6 years old,
なら
so
覚え
it's
てなくて
only
も
natural
無理は
that you wouldn't remember.
覚えてなく
It's
ても
only natural that I don't remember? And she understood what her brother was trying to say. However, she couldn't accept it.
後宮金蔵は
It's true that Ushima Kinzo was a rigid man.
若かった時は
When he was younger, he really
相当
was
きつ
strict
く
with his kids,
息子たちに当たっていたらしい。それが半ばトラウマになっ
and,
て
well, it's probably not wrong to say that it was pretty traumatic
じい
for
さまの
Dad
こ
and
と
the
を
others,
かながっていることはま
and that they're still a
あ
bit
確か
scared
に
of him.
外れじゃない。
The grand tale of how Kinzo restored the Ushima family was more than enough to paint him as a rigid, terrifying man. Furthermore, Kinzo was an investor. All the legends and tales that made him seem more mysterious had probably worked in his business's favor. At times, Kinzo may even have acted out this part people expected, endeavoring to make his presence all the more overpowering. That's why the world at large spoke of Ushima Kinzo as a strict, short-tempered man, and they even thought of him as a fickle, bold, incomprehensible eccentric.
でもそれはじいさまの外の
But that was just the face grandfather showed to the world.
後ろ宮家で
That's not how he acted in private, alone
水入
with
らず
his
で過ごす
family.
時の顔じゃない。
あの
Are you saying that weeping old man who doted on his grandchildren
後ろ宮
It's
金
the
蔵
real
の
Ushimiya
本当の
Kinzo.
姿だっていうの。
エンジェラって
He must have played with you and patted your head many times.
本当に覚えてないのか
Do you really not remember? Stuff like that might have happened once or twice, but that must have been a mere whim of his. My parents told me all the time, grandfather's a terrifying person, so make sure you act properly. They always said that he's very scary, so take care.
だから
And that means
怖い人なの
he
よ。
was a scary person.
幼いお前は親の言いつけを過剰に聞いて鵜呑みに
When
す
you
る
were little, you'd always accept whatever your parents said and take it too seriously.
悪く言えば
To put it
思い
nicely,
込みの激し
you
い
were
子だった
obedient. But to put it bluntly, you were a kid with an overactive imagination.
親父たちは行儀よくしてるようにと念を押していただけなんだ
Dad and the others were just trying to make you realize how important it was to be polite.
私
I
見てた
saw
も
it
ん。
though.
知ってたもん。
I knew about it.
後ろ宮金
I
蔵
knew
は
that Ushimiya
恐ろしい
Kinzo
人
was
だ
a
って
scary
怒
person.
ってるところを
I've
見た
even
こ
seen
とが
him
ある
yelling
も
in
ん。
anger.
私は覚え
I'll
てる。
never forget
忘れ
it.
ない。
さっきも見た通り
Well, like you saw
じい
just
さん
now,
は唐突なお人だ
grandfather could be a bit abrupt at times.
ひょっとすると
He might just have been
何か
trying
を
to
驚かそうと
surprise
したの
you,
かもしれないあるいは
or it might have slipped out when he was having a serious discussion with his kids.
つい怒鳴ってしまったこともある
それを
And
私
you
が
think
勝
I
手に
just got
怯え
scared
て
for no reason?
勝手にそうだと
You
思い
got the
込ん
wrong
だってい
idea?
うの。そんなはずな
That
いわ。
can't be.
そんなは
That
ずな
can't
い。
be true.
だって私は
I mean,
覚えて
I
るも
still
の。
remember it.
まずちゃんと見たわ。
I know I saw
後ろ
Ushimiya
宮金
Kinzo
蔵が
yelling
怒
and
鳴って
being
る。
scary.
恐ろしいと父さんも母さん
Mom
も
and
怯え
Dad
てい
were
たわ。
terrified too,
だから
so I
わ
know
か
I'm
るの。
right.
私はわかる。
幼いお前が抱いた
The impression you had of grandfather when you were young remained with you,
お前の
and
成
that
長ととも
impression
に
grew
膨らん
inside
だ
you as you grew up. How many times did Angie see Kinzo in her life? How old was she the last time she saw him? Angie, who got sick easily when under pressure, couldn't have gone to Rakanjima often. And, since she was absent from the family conference when she was 6, her last memories of him must have come from when she was just 5 years old.
お
But
兄ちゃんだって
even you haven't seen Ushimiya
6
Kinzo
年間
for 6
後ろ
years.
宮金蔵には会ってないじゃない。
そうだな
That's right.
でも
But when I finally came back after 6 years,
じいさまは
I saw that grandfather hasn't changed in the
全く変わってな
slightest.
かったって知ったぜ
金蔵は
Kinzo
気
was
まぐれで
fickle,
何を考え
so
て
you
る
could
か
never
わからなく
understand what
て
he was thinking.
不気味な
And he
オカル
was
ト
an
趣味の基
eccentric
人
with
で
a creepy love for the occult. And
オカルト趣味なのは間違
it's
いない
true that he had a love for the occult.
妖精の趣味にしちゃ
Yeah, it was a bit of a
Choice of
strange
珍しい
hobby
もの
for him to
だった
get
のは
into in his
事実だ。
final years.
その不気味な収
I'll
集品
admit
で
that his hobby of collecting
孫を
strange
怖がらせて
objects
か
to
ら
scare his
か
grandchildren
悪い趣味があった
and
こ
laugh
と
at
は
them wasn't exactly
俺も
praiseworthy. Even Balor had been pranked by Kinzo in the past. He'd do things like showing off an attaché case with several strange stakes in it, and say something about how they were once used in the Middle Ages to gouge the hearts of victims in a witch's ceremony. When Kinzo did things like that, it was pretty scary, but looking back on it now, they really were childish pranks. Grandfather only scared his grandchildren because he wanted to joke around with them.
じいさまはきっとお前
I'd
に
be
も
willing
同
to
じこと
bet
をしてからかったと
that grandfather pulled a prank like that on you too.
幼いお前が
It's no surprise that, young as you were,
じいさまを不
you
気
let
味で
that
恐
scare
ろしい
you and
人だと
convince you
思い
that
込んだとして
grandfather
も
was a strange, terrifying
無理もな
person.
い話だと思う
お兄ちゃんが
I don't
何
know
を
what
言
you're
ってるの
talking
か
about, Oni-chan.
わからない。
And she bit her lower lip and stared at the ground. She said she didn't understand, but in truth she understood perfectly and was refusing to accept it.
さっき
Remember how we traded Halloween presents in the parlor just now?
何よあれ。
What was that all about?
あんな甘ったる
You
いこ
from
と
your family never did
後ろ
anything
見上
that
げてやるわけ
sentimental.
がない。
お前は
It's almost as
ま
though
るで覚えてないん
you
だ
don't remember it at all.
私もか
Are you
つ
saying I
て
got
プレゼン
presents
トをも
once
らったこ
too?
とがあるというの覚えて
I
ない。
don't remember anything like that.
そんなのある
That
わけ
could
がない。
never happen.
オカルト好きで西洋かぶ
Do
れ
you
の
really
じいさま
think
が
that grandfather,
ハロウィンを
a
やら
man
ない
who
と
loved the
思うか
occult and Western traditions, wouldn't celebrate Halloween?
じいさまのハッピーハロウィンは
Grandfather's Happy Halloween
も
was
う
pretty
親
much
族
the
会議
standard
の挨
greeting at
拶
our
みたいな
family
もんだったぜ
conferences.
エンジェラって
He must have said it to you too.
幼いってのは残酷だな
Youth can be so cruel.
じいさまが心を
Even
込
though
めて選んだ
grandfather
の
put all his heart into choosing those presents,
お前の
looks
心に
like your heart didn't remember
全く残
anything.
らなかった
私が幼か
Are you
ったか
saying that I
ら
was just too young to remember?
あれが
And that was the truth of October
先
4th?
月の10月4日だというの？
あの日も
On that
6
day,
年前と何
just
も
like
変わら
6
ず
years before,
じいさまはハッピーハロウィ
grandfather
ンの
entered the
声と
parlor
とも
with
に
a cry of Happy
客場にやっ
Halloween.
てきたよそして
Then,
俺との
he
6
and
年ぶ
I
りの再
traded
会に
presents
涙をこぼしてくれながら
as he shed tears over our long-awaited reunion after a
プレ
6-year
ゼント
gap.
の交換をしたじいさまはエンジェが来れなかったこと
Grandfather
を残
seemed
念
so
がっていた
sad
よ
that Angie wasn't able to come.
だから
So,
エンジェにぜひ
he
渡
gave
してくれと
Kiri-san a present, telling
キ
her
リ
to
エさ
make
んに
sure that
プレ
Angie
ゼントボ
got
ッ
it.
クスを預けていた
Never heard anything about a present like that.
受け取ってない。
Mom never gave it to me. True.
そうだなお前に届け
She
ること
never
は
had the chance.
できなかったな
私は信
I
じない。
don't believe it.
あんな後ろ
I
に
won't believe
傷
that
なんて
it was
信じ
Ushimiya
ない
Kinzo.
じゃあ親
Then
族
what
会
about
議
the
はどう
family
なの？
conference itself?
遺産分配
Wasn't
の
there
た
a
めの
tense argument over the
きな臭いものじゃな
distribution
か
of
っ
the
たの？
inheritance?
親族兄弟たち
All
は
the
みんな
adult
資金
siblings
繰り
were
に
in
困っ
money
てい
trouble.
た。そのために
That's why they all
金
longed
蔵
for
の遺産を
Kinzo's
発動して
inheritance
いた。
money.
エンジェはそんなことをど
Angie,
こで知った
where did you hear that from?
どこって
What do you mean
そう
where?
でしょ？それが真
It's the
実で
truth,
しょ？
isn't it?
幼いエンジェに
Do you think Dad would talk to you about financial difficulties with his company when you were that age?
親父だけじゃない
And not just Dad.
クラウスおじさん
Even if Uncle Kraus, Aunt Eva, and Aunt Rosa were in
ロー
money
ザおばさん
trouble and wanted Kinzo's inheritance
が
money,
幼い
do
仮
you
にする
really
に
think
して
they'd
も
talk about it in front of you?
お前がいる前ですると思うか
But,
だって
but,
でも
but it's true, isn't it? In the end, it was true. Angie's words were not mistaken. Not only Rudolph, but even Kraus, Hideyoshi, and Rosa had companies in money trouble. People started talking about the Rakanshima explosion accident as though it was some sort of conspiracy, and a mystery imagined by the public covered the island. Weekly magazines and television shows researched the circumstances of Kinzo's children at the time. And in the future where Angie lived, that research had been made public.
お前がそれを知ったのは
You learned all about that. You learned
1986
about
年より
all of that
後の
after 1986.
でも事
But
実
it's
で
a
しょ？
fact, isn't it?
事実は真
There's no
実。
difference between facts and truth.
だから
Does that prove that the inheritance created a strained
遺産を
atmosphere
めぐって
between the
ギスギス
relatives
して
on
いたってわけ
Rakanjima?
かそこに
I guess that might
エン
fit
ジェ
with
の
your
幼い
memory
頃の
of your parents telling you
親族会議
repeatedly
で
to
は
be extra
粗相が
polite
な
at
い
the
よう
family conference.
行儀よくしているよ
Are you saying that what I know about Rakanjima, what I know about the Ushima family,
間違ってるっていうの？間違ってるの？
you're the one who's wrong, Oni-chan.
あんなのありえない。
There's no way something like that could be possible.
私は認め
I
ない
won't
わ。
accept that that was Ushima Kinzo.
断じて
I could never accept that.
あんな後ろ宮金蔵を
エンジェは信じない
So you don't believe, Angie?
ええ
That's right.
信じない
I don't believe.
お兄ちゃんが
I don't understand
どう
why
い
you're
うつも
showing
り
me
でこん
something
な
like
ものを
this.
見せているのかわからないけれどだって
After
これ
all,
はお兄ちゃ
this
ん
is
の
your
ゲーム
game.
い
No,
え
your game board,
Game
isn't it?
ベアトだの
First
ベ
it
ル
was
ンだの
Beto and Byrne,
何人もの魔
one
女
witch
が
after another has
私の
sneered at my
運命を
fate,
嘲笑い
trying to make me
その
surrender
ゲ
in
ー
their
ムで
games.
屈服させようとしてきたわでも
But I want the
私は
truth.
真実を求めている魔女たちのまやか
Witch
しなんか
illusions
通用
won't
し
work
な
on
い
me.
なるほどね
Now I get it.
魔女た
You
ちめ
damn witches.
最後の資格
So you
に
sent
お
Oni-chan as the
兄ちゃん
final
を送り
assassin to
込んで
finish
きた
me
って
off.
わけだわ
そうだな
You're right.
これは
This is
俺のゲームだ
my game.
だから確かに
So of course,
これは
this
俺
is
の
my
物語であ
tale,
り
and I'm the one making
俺
it.
がだからこそ
That's why I'm able
もし
to
もお
add
前
in
が島に来るこ
what
とが
if
できたなら
situations like
と
what
いう
would happen if you came to
イ
the
フを混
island
ぜるこ
too.
とができる
ほら
See?
お兄ちゃんの
You
物語じゃ
made
ない
this tale.
全部
お兄
It's
ちゃん
all a
の
pack of lies.
嘘っぱちの
A fiction you created.
そう
You're
だ
right.
これは全て俺
This is
の
all a fiction I
作り話だ
created. See?
認めたわね
You've admitted it. You have, haven't you?
やっぱりこれは
Just like I
お
thought,
兄
this
ちゃん
is
の
all
嘘
a
な
lie
の
you
よ
made.
どうして嘘をつくの
Why are you lying to me?
どうして私
Why
に
won't you
真
tell me
実
the
を教え
truth?
てくれないの
真実より
Because there's something I need you to
もっと
understand.
大切などうしても伝えた
Something
い
more
ことがある
important
から
than the
だ
truth.
真実より
Something more
大切
important
なこ
than the
と
truth?
何それ
What the hell are you talking about?
それを分からせるためのものが
The purpose of my
俺の
game
ゲームだ
is to make you understand that. Just as Beato's games were made to make Battler believe in witches, Battler's game was made to show Angie something that was more important than the truth. Games never bring about their intended ends by force. After all, Beato's game could never be won for all eternity unless Battler acknowledged witches on his own. Battler's game was the same. Battler couldn't win in this game unless Angie acknowledged it herself. So, Battler had advanced this game just as Beato had done in the past. To believe it or not. To accept it or not. The decision lay solely in the hands of the opponent. And so, Battler was trying to enshroud Angie with his own illusion.
ようやく理解したわ。
I finally get it.
これは
This is a game between me and you, Oni-chan.
エンジ
Angie,
俺はお前と
I'm
ゲ
not
ームを
trying
して
to
いるつも
challenge
り
you
は
to
な
a
い
game.
いいえ、
No,
これはゲームだわ。
this is a game.
私は
I made a wish, hoping to learn the truth of October
10
4th,
月4日の真実を
1986.
知りたいと願った。そしてお兄ちゃんは
And so, you
私
invited
に
me
そ
to
れを
this
見せ
game,
ると言って
saying that you'd show
こ
me
の
the
ゲームへ
truth.
招いたわ。そしてお
And
かし
now,
な幻想
you're
を
showing
見
me
せ
the
て
strange
それが
illusion,
真実だと
trying to make
私
me
に信
believe
じ
that
込ま
it's
せ
the
ようと
truth.
している。おあいにくね。
Well, too bad.
私、
I'm already used
魔
to
女たち
dealing
と
with
のやりと
witches.
りは慣れてるの。お兄ちゃ
I
んが
can totally
優
tell
し
that
そう
you're
な
trying
顔
to
をし
use
て
that kind face
私
of
を
yours
騙
to
そうと
trick
してる
me.
ことなんて百も承知なんだから。
The big brother realized that no words of his would have any effect on his enraged little sister. So he just quietly listened to Angie's words. But even so, Angie was dissatisfied.
もうくだらない
I've
茶
had
番
more
は
than
飽
enough
き飽
of
きだ
this
わ。
stupid farce.
お兄ちゃんに真
You
実を
don't plan on
話す気
telling
が
me the
ないと
truth,
言う
then
なら
end it all now.
私は
I'll
私
find
の
my
真
own
実を
truth
自
for
分で
myself.
お兄ちゃんには頼
I
らない。
won't rely on you.
そうよ。
That's right.
もともと
There never was anyone I could rely on anyway.
私は
I've
いつだって
always been all
一人ぼ
alone.
っちだったわよ。
悪いが
Sorry,
このゲームから降りること
I
は
won't let you leave this game.
許さない
ああ、
Oh,
そうだったわね。
that's right.
ゲームマスターが負
Unless
けを
the
認
game
めない
master
限
admits
り
defeat,
ゲー
the
ム
game
は永
never
遠
ends,
に終わらないん
right?
だったっけ。
そんなつもりはないさ
That isn't what I meant.
黙って
I'm
話を
just telling
聞
you
け
to
ってだ
stay
けのこと
quiet
だ
and listen.
ああ、そう。
Oh, sure.
なら黙
I'll
ってる
just
こと
stay
にする
quiet
わ
then.
プレイヤーがいなくても。
Even if the
駒
player
は
isn't
勝手に
around,
動
the
き、
pieces just move
ゲー
by
ムは進む。
themselves and the game moves forward.
そうだったわよね。
Isn't that how it works?
そうだな
That's right.
プレイヤーを離
The
れ
player can step back and become
少し
become an observer for a while if they want,
そしてまた戻って
and
き
they
たい
can
時
return and join in whenever they
戻れば
want
いい
to.
そうさせてもらう
Then
わ。
I'll do that.
これはコンクラベよ。
This is an endurance contest.
お兄ちゃんが
It'll
真
keep
実
on
を
going
ごま
until
か
you
すことを
stop trying to
諦め
cover
る
up
ま
the
でね。
truth.
真実より大切なこと？
Something more important than the truth?
意味わかんない。
I don't get it.
そんなもの
How could anything like that
あるわけがない。
exist?
あるんだよ
It does, Angie.
仮に俺の
Whether
物語
my
が
tale is
真
the
実でな
truth
かった
or
と
not,
してもお前は大切
the
な
fact
ものを
remains that you lost something
この
precious
島
on
で
this
なくしてい
island.
るんだ
お父さん、お
Dad,
母さん、
Mom,
そしてお兄ちゃ
and
ん。
you, Oni-chan.
私が亡くした
I
のは
lost my
家族と
family
そ
and
して
everything
全
that
て
mattered
よ。
to me. She spat out those words as though no further questioning would do any good, and looked away. Even as he watched this, Battler's expression remained gentle.
勝手に進めなさいよ。
Just keep going however you like.
じゃあね、お兄ちゃん。
Later, Oni-chan.
物語だけはちゃんと見
At
ている
least
よ
make sure you watch the tale.
聞くだけでもいい
Even just listening is enough.
気が向いたらね
If I feel like it.
じゃあ
Later. Angie's eyes clouded. Then a particularly strong gust of wind blew by, sending her hair flying. The wind must have been carrying some dust with it. Angie's nose twitched, and she sneezed loudly.
お兄ちゃん
Anita?
なんだい
What is it?
いつまでここに
How
いる
long are
の
we gonna stand here?
なんか
The
お
weather's
天
all
気変
weird.
ゲストハウスに帰ろ
Let's
う
go
よ
back to the guest house. Angie's eyes weren't cloudy anymore. However, the tone and atmosphere about those eyes seemed somehow different from before. In a manner typical of young girls, Angie signaled that she was too bored and wanted to go do something. This Angie was clearly a 6-year-old Angie.
そうだね
Good point.
じゃあ
Then,
園児はゲスト
why
ハウ
don't
ス
you
に
head
戻っ
back
て
to
る
the guest house now?
お兄ちゃんはまだ
I'm gonna stay
ここにいるよ
どうして
Why?
もう
It'll
すぐ
start
雨
raining
が降って
soon.
くるよ
そろそろ来
It
るは
won't
ず
be
だ
long now,
だから
so I'll wait here a bit
俺は
longer.
待ってるよ
待ってるって
You're waiting here?
誰
Who are you waiting for? Huh? Then, to Angie's eyes, it looked as though the strong winds were carrying flakes of gold along with them. No, she had definitely seen something, but she wasn't able to describe what she had seen. So to her, it had seemed like flakes of gold dancing on the wind.
来たか
So, here you are.
ずいぶん待った
I've
ぜ
been waiting a while now. It was as though he was talking to the wind. Battler spoke to the empty rose garden. That can't be right. After all, it was clear from his words that he was talking to someone right in front of him. So, Angie thought it must be someone that she alone couldn't see, and she rubbed her eyes. Then, when she opened her eyes wide, another large gust of wind blew past her. She shut her eyes immediately, and when she timidly opened them, from the other end of the rose garden, yes, from the path that led up from the harbor, a person appeared. To Angie, it looked as though she had appeared along with a cloud of gold flakes carried by the wind. You're late, Beato.
そうか
Am I?
むしろ
I'd
早い
call it early.
たまにはお前も
You should ride in the boat with us every now and then.
柵に捕まって
You
お
mean
前と
grasp
一緒
the
に
handrail
叫ぶ
and
ぜ
scream alongside you?
いいぜ叫ぼう
Yeah,
ぜ
sure. Let's scream.
落ちる
Fall,
落ちる
fall.
ってな
なるほど
I
それ
see.
も悪くな
How
かった
interesting.
認めよ
Yes,
う
I
どうやら
suppose
わ
I
らわが
did
来るの
arrive
は
too
遅
late.
かったらしい
The pair casually walked up to each other and hugged. It looked like a pair of friends being reunited after several years. Angie, surprised by this unfamiliar woman, looked for somewhere to hide. However, her eyes met Beato's, and she was unable to escape.
おお
Oh,
そなたは
and you
エン
must
ジェ
be
か
Angie. She was shocked to hear this unfamiliar woman suddenly use her name.
こやつも6歳の頃は
And she can be so cute when she's 6 years old.
お兄ちゃん
Annie-chan?
この人
Who is this person?
お兄ちゃんの友
A
人だ
friend of mine.
友人
A friend?
それは
How can you
あ
say
んまり
that?
だろうが
お兄ちゃんの
Annie-chan's
友達
friend?
こいつはベアトリ
This
ッ
is
チ
Beatrice.
おじいちゃんから
You've
聞いた
heard
こと
from
ないか
grandfather, haven't you?
後ろ宮家に黄
About
金
the
を授
golden
けて
witch
く
who
れ
gave the Ishimi family its
た黄
gold?
金の魔女の話を
Haven't I heard that before? The golden witch. Now I remember. That was the scary witch who would snatch you up and carry you off into the forest if you didn't listen to your parents or stayed up too late on Rockinshima.
雨の夜
Mom said
真っ暗な森
that
を
on
窓
rainy
から
nights, if you
眺め
look
てる
out the
と
window at the dark forest,
魔女と目が合
you
って
might see the witch looking back at you and get snatched away.
ということは
Which must mean
わらわは夜
that I'm
更かしの
supposed
子
to be
供を見
wandering
張る
around
た
in
め
the cold rain
寒
looking
い
in
雨
the
の
each
中
window.
窓を
find
一つ
kids
一つ
staying
覗
up
き
too
込まね
late?
ばならぬそれはあま
How
りに無
pathetic
駄
that would be.
確かに
Good point.
エンジ
Angie,
それはお前
your
に夜
parents
更かし
just
を
made
させ
that
ないた
story
めの
up to get you to go to
親
bed
の
on
作り
time.
話だ
Beatrice doesn't do stuff like that.
よかろ
Very
う
well.
名乗ろうぞ
Allow me to introduce myself.
わらわは黄
I
金の
am
魔女
Beatrice,
Bea?
the Golden Witch.
お孫さんだ
Or her grandchild, at least.
孫
Grandchild?
お
That
孫さんとは
grandchild part's
な
a
ん
bit
と
of
も
a
閉まらぬ
killjoy.
呼び名であるな
だってそうだろ
So the elder is the grandchild? Well, it's true, isn't it?
じい様に黄金を授
The
けて
person that grandfather got the gold from and called the Golden Witch was your grandmother,
お前
right?
のばあ様の話
I
確
guess.
かにそう黄金の魔女の
The
孫
grandchild of the Golden Witch. Am I?
そのキャッチコピ
Can I
ー
get a better title
も
than
う
that?
少しマシなものにはならぬのか
この人魔女なの
Is this person a witch?
ああ
Yep,
そうだよ
she is.
今日の親族会
She's
議
the
に招
guest
かれ
who's
た
been
お客さ
invited
ん
to
だ
the family conference today.
怖い魔女じゃない
She
の
isn't a scary witch?
暗い森に
She's not gonna take me
私を
away
さ
into
らっ
the
たりし
forest?
ない
Damn
ルド
Rudolph
ルフ
and
に切
Kiri.
り絵目一体わ
What
ら
do
わ
they think they're telling this kid about me?
わらわはそん
I
な
don't
こ
do
とは
things
せ
like
ぬ
that.
後で厳
I'll
重
lodge
に
a firm
抗議
protest later.
ブン
Out. She looked like a fiercely emotional person. But she wasn't at all what Angie had expected the creepy Golden Witch to be like. She was very loud, overreacting to everything. Nothing at all like the witch Maria Onechan had talked about, who had lived for 1,000 years and had various servants from the demon world. She looked, well, like an energetic young woman, the kind Angie's mom might have gotten along great with. Her brother and the witch talked together happily like a pair of close friends. Dogs tend not to trust people they meet for the first time. However, people say that they calm down once they see that their owner is on good terms with a stranger. Surely, something similar to this was going on in Angie's heart. Angie kept staring at this pushy, temperamental woman who called herself a witch, as she chatted happily with her brother.
その鍵は
What's this key for? Beato noticed the gold key hanging from Angie's neck. Angie automatically and defensively grasped it.
エンジェの
That's Angie's
大
precious
切な
key.
鍵だ
After hearing these vague words, the witch stared blankly for a second, but almost immediately she seemed to understand what he meant.
なるほど
I see.
そういうことか
Is that how it is?
すべきことを
I thought it'd be easier to understand if I made it clear what she's supposed to do.
安心せよエンジェ
Fear not, Angie.
そなたの大切
No one's
な
going
鍵
to
を
steal your
奪ったりなど
precious
せぬ
key.
ぞ
本当に
Are you sure?
もちろん
Of
であるとも
course.
それはそなたの
That
鍵
key
である
belongs to you,
そ
and
な
the
たが
choice
決
is
めるこ
yours.
とであるバトラン
Matner and the rest of us are merely signposts to
そ
guide
な
you
たを
on
導
your
く
path.
道しるべの役にしか過ぎぬのだから
When her brother gave her the key, he had said that it was very important, so she had to take good care of it. Angie didn't have a clue what the key was for, but it looked like Beato did. However, just like her brother had done earlier, Beato only spoke in riddles. This irritated Angie, but for the time being, the Golden Witch said that she didn't intend to steal the key, so Angie calmed down a little.
あなたは
Do
こ
you
の鍵知っているの
know what this key is used for?
もちろん
But
であ
of
るとも
course.
だが
However,
それを
I
教
cannot
える
tell
わ
you.
けにはいか
どうして
Why not?
ぬその鍵を
Because
ど
you
う
must
使う
decide
か
how to use that key for
そな
yourself.
たが自分で決めねばならぬからだ
The witch said the same thing as my brother. The pair nodded to each other, but it was all Greek to me. It felt like someone had laid out a riddle that everyone knew but me, and everyone was making fun of me.
やがてわかる。
You'll know soon enough.
無理に考える
Don't
必
waste
要は
time
ない。
thinking about it. Angie held the key tightly. Even if she didn't understand what it meant, it was her own key, and her big brother had told her to take good care of it. With her youthful suspicion, she was scared that the witch might ask her to hand it over, saying that she'd teach her how to use it. Of course, her thoughts showed up clearly on her face. The witch couldn't help but laugh at that honest expression.
安心せよ。
Fear not.
そなたのその
It isn't
鍵、
possible for anyone to steal
誰に
that
も
key
奪
from
う
you.
ことはできぬのだ。
誰にも
No
奪
one
えない
can steal it?
そういう
You
魔法
might
が
say that
込
it
めら
has
れ
been
ている
imbued
と
with
でも
magic
理
to
解
make it
せよ。
so.
とにかく
At any
安
rate,
心するがよい。
fear not.
わらわも
Neither
バカ
I
も
nor Battler
そして島
nor
の誰
anyone
も
else on this island
そ
can
な
steal
たから
that key
鍵を
from you.
奪うようなことはせぬ。
本当に
Really?
ああ、
Yeah,
本当だよ。
really.
そういう魔法
The
がかか
magic
ってる
won't let them. The key was hanging around her neck like an ordinary necklace. Angie could take it off right now if she wanted, and if an adult tried to use force, it seemed like it would be easy for them to take it away. However, both her brother and the witch said that it was protected by a magic that would stop anyone from stealing it.
魔法なんて
Does magic
本当に
really
あるの
exist? Even the 6-year-old Angie knew about the word magic. However, she also realized that real magic didn't exist, and that certain kinds of magic tricks were sometimes called magic. However, her brother and the witch were talking about magic itself.
ああ、
Yeah,
魔法は存在
magic
する。
exists?
本当に
Really?
マリアもよくわらわ
Maria
のことを
spoke with me
話してい
often,
るであろ
did she not?
う。魔女はいる。
She says that witches exist,
魔法は存在する。
and she often tells you that
そ
magic
なたによく
exists,
語った
correct?
はずだぞ。
True, Maria had talked about that many times. When they were just playing, Angie had believed her, more or less. However, Angie was, in some ways, sharp for her age, and when she heard Maria talking happily about magic, she sometimes thought that such a thing couldn't really exist.
なら見せて
Then, show me.
うん
Hmm?
見せて魔法
Show me magic,
じゃなきゃ信
or
じ
I
ない
won't believe you.
おいおい、
Hold up a sec.
ベアとは島に来た
Beato
ばか
just
り
arrived on
で。
the island, and she hasn't even gone in to say hi everyone at the mansion yet. Battler spoke as though he was trying to smooth something over. When she heard that, Angie became sure that magic didn't exist after all.
魔女なんて嘘っぱち
Magic is just a bunch of lies.
エンジェは知って
I
るの
know.
おい、
Hey,
よすんだ。
stop that.
ベアとが気
You'll
を
hurt
悪くする。
Beato's feelings.
よいよい。
No, it's no problem.
魔女に会えば
Anyone
誰
would
だ
say
って
that
同じ
upon
ことを
meeting a
問うだろう。
witch.
いつもならば
Normally, I
こ
would
のよう
ignore
な
a
幼子の
provocation
挑
from
発に
such a
付
small
き合いは
child,
せぬのだが
but she is your little
バト
sister
ラの
after all.
妹であるからな。特別に披露してやってもよ
Why
い。
don't we give her a special showing?
いいのか。
Are you sure?
よい
Of
よい。
course I am.
では見せよ。
Watch carefully, Angie. Okay. Though Angie had challenged the witch, now that she was about to be shown magic, she looked a bit hesitant. She gulped, then stared up at the witch's face. The witch held out her left hand, bringing it close to Angie's face. Then she slowly spread her fingers. Angie, thinking that she was about to be turned into a frog, shrank back. However, after waiting a while and grinding her teeth, she realized that nothing was happening. So the part of her that had been scared began to get angry.
何も起こらない
Nothing was
の
happening.
早とちりする
Don't
で
jump to conclusions.
まだ魔法を使って
I
はお
haven't
らぬ
used magic yet.
ほら
See?
わらわの
Look
手
carefully
の
at my
ひらを
palm.
よーく見るが種も仕
I'm
掛け
not
もない
hiding
よ
anything, correct? Oh, so that's what she's doing. Now that she finally understood, Angie checked both sides of the witch's hand.
う
Yeah,
ん何もない
there's
の
nothing there. Watch closely. I'll make a fist, and then stretch out my index finger. She stretched out her index finger and held it right in front of Angie's eyes. Angie, thinking that she'd lose the game if she took a step back, stood her ground and concentrated on the fingertip. Watch the tip of my finger closely. Ready? It'll be fast. The witch rapidly lifted her index finger high into the air, pointing at the heavens. Just as Angie looked up to see the finger raised high, it swung down as though trying to dodge her gaze. In that manner, up, down, left, right, and left again. Angie, feeling as though she'd lose if she couldn't keep up with the fingertip, swung her face this way and that, looking serious. Ever since she was very young, Angie had hated to lose. She would take even the most trivial games seriously, determined not to lose to the adults. The witch's hand moved faster and faster. Angie didn't lose track of it. Then the high-pointing finger was swung down all of a sudden. The index finger curled up again, and the hand was held in a simple fist. Could it be that something was going to come out of that hand? Angie, who was expected that this might happen, had followed the finger very closely. There's no way that once empty hand could have grabbed anything. Ready? I'm going to open my hand. The witch slowly opened her right fist. And there... What? How? How, Oni-chan? The witch gave the cutely wrapped candy to Angie as a present. Angie took it and desperately searched for some kind of trick on it. It was just an everyday, ordinary candy. How? That was a trick, wasn't it, Oni-chan? Oni-chan? Nope. That was magic. You were watching the whole time, weren't you? Since I was watching the whole time, how did it happen? Angie didn't like it, but she was unable to see how that could have been anything other than magic. As the little sister furrowed her brow and bit her lower lip, her brother gently told her again that it was magic. It's about time for me to head to the mansion to pay my respects. You should come along, Battler. I'll suffocate if I have to go alone. You sure? Then I'll join you. What about you, Angie? Will you go back to the guest house? I want to stay with you, Oni-chan. She still couldn't accept it. However, could it really be? She still looked grumpy, but it looked like she was getting interested in this witch. Then, let us go. The Golden Witch returns. The Golden Witch's grandchild returns, you mean? They really need to do something about that name. The big brother and the witch really did seem close. As kindred spirits like a pair of comedians, they started walking. Angie held onto the corner of her brother's sleeve, trying to make sure he didn't forget about her. Umineko no Naku Koro Nichiru, Nocturne of Truths and Illusions. You know what? I think I'll call it there. Decent ending point. I could go on for a bit more, but I feel like that's a good stopping spot. I have an inkling. I know what the lesson here is. I'm not gonna try and think on it too much, but it's a full grid. Everybody and Angie too. Ushiromiya Angie, Rudolph and Kiri's daughter, Adler's younger sister from a different mother. She gets sick easily, but she managed to get better just in time to attend this year's family conference. She's so happy this year, surrounded by her beloved family and relatives. Take a look at Beatrice. Beatrice, the golden witch who has lived for 1,000 years. She has surpassed the limits of humans and, like demons, will sometimes appear in response to the summons made by humans to offer her power in exchange for a price. She has been called here for a ceremony involving the return of a vast amount of gold, which the Ushimiya family received from her grandmother. Rakanjima no longer has any need for the old arguments and tragedies. Any need? Look at Kinjoseph, his James. The aged head of the Ushimiya family, even though it has already been announced that he has just a few months to live, he is brimming with energy. Though he amassed a vast fortune in the past, he never made any announcements regarding the inheritance, which worries his children. He is strongly influenced by the West and is a rabid fan of the occult. His studies packed with mysterious grimoires. Very odd, very odd. And nothing. But I get a feeling we'll be tossing some things in there. Anyway, that'll be it for today. And Angie has 1 winged inkle on her sock. Anyway, that will be it for today. I'll see you guys later. It is Friday, I believe, right? Yeah, Friday. So, we'll see you next week. I'm going to take a weekend off and I'm going to hammer some things out schedule-wise and plan-wise and all that stuff. Anyway, take care. Have a good one, everybody.